I am, of course, always excited by comments. There's one here from John Clausen 5214, and I think it's an important one. He says, you're an intelligent person. Thank you very much. And how on earth can you fall for a charlatan like Mahyar tousi? I really don't get it. Well, I don't endorse what Mahyar tousi says. I simply think he's an intelligent individual, and you clearly like intelligence, and he is an able and charismatic presenter. If we only listen to people with whom we agree, then we're in a very strange echo chamber, and that's one of the problems with the algorithm that controls YouTube and sends us bizarre videos that we would never have thought of listening to or watching, except that we've just watched something vaguely linked to that subject. So, you'll find people who say, well, everybody agrees with me. Well, that's because of the algorithm. You're only seeing the opinions that the algorithm thinks that you like. And that is a sad and strange world. I like to see opinions that I don't agree with, because I think that's more reflective of the real world. And I'm particularly, I want to draw a distinction between the opinions that people express and the intelligence and the way that they express them. There is a big difference. And Mahyar tousi, for example, has just done a video about, he says it's about a Turkish problem, but he he posts a video taken from a phone of a march at nighttime by people who he says are protesting against globalization and about migration from North Africa and the Middle East. Well, no march in Turkey would be condoned or allowed at nighttime. No march in Turkey would be allowed at nighttime. And there's nothing in that video to suggest that the video was actually taken in Turkey. Indeed, even once you start looking at the posting that Mahyar tousi has made, it's all over the place. He's talking about France, he's talking about Turkey, he's talking about Sweden, and he's poking fun at what he calls book burning. There's no fun from an Islamic point of view about somebody burning copies of the Quran. It's deeply offensive. And Mahyar tousi thinks this is funny. I think Mahyar tousi is wrong in this instance, and I think his video is misleading. And I'd love to have a chat with him about this, but it's up to him to get in touch with me. And I will do a proper response later on today, backed up, I hope, by a little bit more fact from Turkey itself. What we need are facts. What we need is intelligent analysis. What we need to hear what people are saying that doesn't fit with our narrative. We need to be able to hear what Katie Hopkins would call the opposition. Because if we don't listen to people who don't share our views cannot change. So apologies, John Clausen, but I disagree with you, and that may mean I am not an intelligent person. I must say I think intelligence is sometimes a little bit overrated. I think I'm intelligent enough to be able to manage to understand what somebody else has written or has said. I think most of the time I operate in a miasma of ignorance, and I want to get better. I want to know what's going on. And I don't operate from the position of somebody who knows. I operate from a position of somebody who's searching. And I will, as I say, I will listen to anything. I will hear anything. I will read anything. If that means occasionally I feel as if I got my head stuck down the lavatory bowl on flush, then so be it. That's the life I have elected to lead. I want to find out. And it means I will listen to any sort of rubbish. But at the end of it all, will I be any clearer? Well, I hope I will. And I want to pass some of that clarity on if I possibly can. But then I want you to, take the ball and play with it. And I certainly don't want to censor anything. I certainly don't want to silence anybody. I want to have a discussion, because my reading of the events may not be correct. My reading of the events may need to be corrected too. And then we've also got the issue that, frankly, who are we? We're not going to necessarily affect the way the future develops. But one of us might. I don't think it's going to be me, but there might be somebody out there who does have a voice that will be heard. And, that you have a duty. You have a duty to speak out. And particularly to speak out against the prevailing mood. Just to be that one lone voice who can be heard. Simply because everybody thinks something does not make it true. Of course, if everybody thinks something, it probably is true. But if the majority thinks something, it isn't necessarily true. It just means the majority think it.